elevation and exposure to the elements, they shape how ecosystems are formed, which life forms and which life communities are able to settle in. Welcome to another episode of Pandora Through a Biologist's Eyes. For this episode, we're going to take a look at the ecology and the plant, animal life, and even fungus that we can find on top of the world, you could say. Now we're on this particular mountain called the Wing Mountain, and it is more or less in the middle of the plains. It's a regular mountain, so it is not floating, but what is interesting about it, it has a distinctive ecology. So there's of course lots of flying animals because it's a very steep slope. So we have Coronis eggs here, which are the flying aerial predators with the little bat face. Down there we have types of fungi growing. And as you can see the whole area. Down there is the king love forest in its little bowl. And over there. Up, look at that. That looks like the Ericaceae, those little plants. This area is really exposed. So since the plains are generally very windy, being on top of the whole area, you have more wind there. There's less soil, so only very hardy plants can grow there because you're basically immediately on the bedrock. But for flyers, this is perfect, which of course mimics real life, where lots of flying animals, especially seabirds, they like to nest on colonies on rock cliffs because nothing else can reach it, and it doesn't matter if it's surrounded. Oh, there's a crevice down there. Good thing I didn't fall in there. I'm just accidentally stumbled upon this. I was already done filming, but this happens when the bad weather rolls in. It's very foggy. There's wind coming here, and since there's no protection for this exposed rock side, on top of it, it's a really tough environment. So only hardy plants can live here. And again, you see here the rock bed, so there's not much soil. So you have to be very adapted to survive up here. We can see the ikran circling here. So of course for aerial predators, this big rock location is just great because you can you build your nests here. There is not really any predators gonna go and eat the eggs, which is interesting for the ikran because all of the others they lay eggs, but we can't find an ikran nest. We do find Coronis up here, and there's also storm glider nests. But yeah, so this area, very rocky. Not much plant life going on, except of course for the rainy festal here, which opens up when it rains. And those Ericaceae-like plants. And we have some grass over there, like those big pampas grass. Okay, what is interesting, that there is Coronis eggs here, but I can't see any of the Coronis flying around. Because there are, I found them in different locations, but apparently none of them are up here. Maybe they're down there. Let's check. Oh, nice. Now we have those root-like lichen structures. And they do hurt me, as you can see. So their defense is... Oh, it's hurting me. Okay. So they defend themselves, which is here an actually great spot for a colony of Coronis to, lay their eggs and build their nests because they're protected. And it's not as exposed as it seems to be on the top side. So, very good location. Look at the protection here. Oh, those are those mushroom-like structures. You can look at them and they will push you up. So this side is sparse when it comes to plant life, which might be due to the sun, because this is the south side, but the sun seems to be on the other side. But there's no sun in the south apparently, because on Earth it's in the south and here it's in the north, or at least seems to be in the north there. Oh yeah, I forgot about different hemispheres. Well, here the sun doesn't seem to be in the south, only in the north. So this spot is the the shaded spot, so you have a little different plant life than of course on top. But if we go a little further down, we have more of those plants again. This area also is a bit more open and not as close to the cliff. Okay, I was completely wrong about the sun. It keeps sitting in the south, so I guess it's always in the south because it rose in the south and it's still in the south. Oh yeah, over there you can see the floating rocks of the plains area. There's more ikran down there and whale swarms. Got really nice pattern from above. So if we keep going around the mountain a little towards the south eastern side, it's still like a mix out of mushrooms and those ericaceae plants. And we also have these plants, and they're pretty cool because they just throw away their seed. There are lots of plants and even some fungi on Earth that do that too. But we're gonna have the bioluminescence coming in. Also, we have those Asteraceae-like plants here too. And of course, Coronis eggs. So this seems to be, you know, a good colony spot for them. Okay, so now we're on the north side, which should be... I mean, it's nighttime now, but it should be the side that's more exposed to the sun. And as you can see, the area is much lusher here, so apparently plant life can thrive here a bit easier. Alright, as you can clearly see, Pandora is really bright during the night. Which is of course because you've got this huge gas planet over there, reflecting, you know, the light from the sun towards, you know, Pandora here, because Pandora is actually the moon of the planet. So yeah, nights are very, very bright. And again, bioluminescence is a pretty big thing here, because almost everything has bioluminescence, which could pinpoint to it being a part of the blueprint of, you know, Pandoran life in general, because plants, fungi, animals, they all have it. Now we are, you know, at night, and we are underneath, or in this big cavern. We're still high up, but we are below where we were before. And since this area is more protected from the wind, even though it's, you know, doesn't get the full sun, it is definitely has more grass and more types of plants because this area is protected. There's even trees growing there, which would make sense because if you're on the top and it's very windy, erosion, in this case the wind, will push away all of the soil. So it can't really, because this side is protected from the wind. So it keeps away the, you know, the wind, and so the soil is stable and plants can grow. Even big plants like these trees. Oh, I see direhorses down there. So this area can support life. You know, more life than just the top part where it's perfect for birds, but down here, or bird-like creatures that, you know, flying creatures. But down here is great for, you know, the plant life. It's as diverse almost as the, you know, the plants on the plains. It even seems to be like the more shrubs can, you know, be here, those little bushes. Because they're probably more protected than they are down in the open plains. Plus with all of the grazers down in the plains, they tend to keep, you know, grass short too. Or plants short. I mean, grazers make it up here too, but, you know, you could say not en masse as... Oh, you see them down there. Not as many, of course, as on the big plains. So you have different environments and different, you know, exposure to the elements, and of course different animal compositions, and they tend to... Oh, they're very nimble. They tend to influence how plants can grow, and they can help shape the structure. For example, if you look at how, you know, large herbivores can shape river systems by just going to the rivers and trampling down areas. So that's really interesting to see how the effects they could have. So here would probably be a good spot because you're not as exposed. If, you know, they're probably going to be hunted by storm gliders or other predators. But it seems to be like a nice area for herbivores to get up if they can, because you have to go around the mountain, so you have to be, you know, there's like little slopes and hills you can get up. But you have to be careful. But it's nice to see. Oh, great. It's nice to see that different types can make it their home. And up down there in the distance, do you see that? Where those, I think those are arrow deer. And I scared them off. Okay. Yep, arrow deer. Right, we should not run at wildlife. But now we can see the sunrise, so the sun rises in the south. And all the way down there, we can see a storm glider. Alright, with that sunrise, all those plants, I'm gonna leave you for this episode. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit. Of course, you know, you have, if you look at Earth too, different elevations have different life there. And depending on the whole climate and geography of the area, this, you know, these locations look completely different than similar locations that would be at other locations, of course, just because there are so many factors that can influence it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and with that I'll say goodbye and take care.